My name is Kashan Chadaria. Um, Originally from Orinjoak, the northern part of the country, Belize. Um, I'm married, I have a wife, two kids, a daughter 16 and a son 12. Without going all the way back, I first came on the island to work in 2004. In 2011, I was introduced to John because John was in search for a caretaker. I met John. I had heard of John back in 2008 when he had made a donation to the country of Belize and specifically to the Coast Guard. Over the newscast, our local news. In 2011, I get to meet the man personally, and I interviewed with him for a job, and I got a job with John. After 2011, John came to live on the island in 2012 after his property was raided back in Orinjoak at Tower Hill. Without going into all the details, I just want to make known to the world that John McAfee is a man who has always looked after the marginalized people and the poor people of Belize. He would never, ever hire or kill someone. In 2015, after I came back to the island in 14, I had met a couple guys. They were not really my co-workers, but they were working on the property while I was there as a caretaker. And so they met me and told me, Showtime is going around getting interviews from people who were working or who knew John. Have you ever been contacted? I said no. So I went into a little detail, specifics, talking about costs, what they were paid to do 5-10 minutes of interview. And the money was really late. So one day my phone rang, and it was this guy who told me that the people from Showtime wanted to talk to me. This guy knew where I was staying, and so I told him, okay, bring them over. So they came over, and that is when I met Nanette. I had spoken to Nanette, and she told me that they represented Showtime. They were making this documentary of John, but giving me the impression that it was just an ordinary documentary. She told me that they had already interviewed people in Orinjoak, in Tower Hill, in Carmelita, in Belize City, in here on the island in San Pedro, and from all the interviews and the people who were really taking her around, she realized that she needed to do an interview with me. I said, okay, fine, no problem. What do you want to know? Well, we don't want to know that John was good, that John took care of poor people, that John did this. We want to know what happened with the murder. So I told her, I have nothing to say about a murder because I have no knowledge of what happened with this murder with this guy. But you were on the property. I said, yes. Do you know what happened from the Thursday night that the dogs were poisoned until Monday when you were arrested? When she told me Monday when you were arrested, I said, damn, this girl really knows what happened to me because I was arrested on a Monday. So I said, yeah, I know that. I said, well, can you tell us about that? Then I told her, if you want that type of interview, it will cost you like $30,000. And she told me, she said, no, I can't give you that kind of money. I would have to check with my superiors and see what I can offer you. So I said, okay, well, check with your superiors and then get back to me. You already know where I am staying and what I am prepared to do. And then she came back like 2 or 3 hours after, and she said, Kashan, I can only offer you $10,000 to do an interview, but the interview will be based on the recollection and information that you have concerning Thursday night when the dogs were poisoned to when you were arrested on Monday. I said, okay, how long do you want the interview to last? They said, well, at least 30 minutes. I said, okay, I'm going to do it for 30 minutes. But after she left and I realized what she really wanted, information, then I started to think, I mean, $10,000 in Belize is a lot of money for 30 minutes, you know, who will go against that? So I started to think what I can improvise, what lies I can fabricate to make it credible for her. And so I went deep down and started figuring what I would say and what I would not say. Bottom line is that she came back in the evening and she said, I'm willing to pay you $10,000 for 30 minutes. I said, okay, I mean, $10,000. The average Belizean worker only makes $150 a week, $600 a month. 10 months, it's $6,000. 12 months is $7,200. And here I am being offered to make $10,000 for 30 minutes. It was impossible to put that, to let that pass me. So I accepted and I realized that I'm going to improvise. And so whatever I told Nanette on that interview was a pure fabrication of my imagination, lies, and to make it more credible, that is what I did. Nanette has been after me since then, calling me and telling me, harassing me, telling me, you know, did you tell me lies? Did you not tell me lies? You know, and I've been sticking to the point that, yes, I told you the honest truth. But then when I realized, because even in that she told me that whenever this thing was going to be aired, she would advise me. And the next thing I knew, through the local news, that it has been already been aired in Canada. And now it's going to be aired here around the world, especially here in Belize, on Saturday 24th. So I have to come out clearly and say no, that John had nothing to do with that murder.
Which murder was that?
I'm talking about John's neighbor. This was a guy who, I really had no contact with this guy. And for the duration that I was on John's property, I had only seen him twice walking on the beach. And that would have been sometime in the morning after 9, 10 o'clock, 11, when he would go to Rojo Lounge, and at night in the evening, like 6, 7, with a parrot. I don't even know if it's a parrot, but it was a white bird sitting on his shoulder. The bottom line is that I am here now saying that whatever I told Nanette was fabrication, pure lies, to earn what she said she would pay me, which was $10,000. After the 30 minutes was almost up, I looked and I told her, you know, your 30 minutes is up. He said, yes, but Kashan, you haven't gone into the details. From Thursday to Monday when you were arrested. I say, you know, but your 30 minutes, he said, I'm going to give you $2,500 more if you just give me 10 more minutes of interview, but I am going to ask you the questions. I said, okay. So I said, to my mind, I said, okay, that will be 12,500 Belize. It's already Christmas time around the corner. My kids and my family, we're going to have the best Christmas that we have not had for a couple of years after John had left. So, but then during the interview, she kept pushing words in my mouth. She kept asking me questions that I knew if I wanted to make it credible, I had to improvise again and make it more credible to her. And then I continued saying lies about John McAfee. What I want to say now is that I believe in my heart that John had nothing to do with that murder. Absolutely nothing. John would never, ever do something like that.
And who paid you the money and how they paid you?
Okay, so after the interview, Nanette gave me $5,000. I mean, hey, here in Belize, who has ever held $5,000 in his or her hands? And then she gave me another $2,500 in Belize dollars. And that made up the whole package of $12,500 for like 45 minutes of interview.
Have you heard about Nanette? Have you heard about?
Yeah, she after a while, because she had promised me that whenever the project is completed and it was going to be aired, she would contact me before it is being aired. She had even promised to send me a copy so that I can see it before it is being aired worldwide. She did not do that, but she kept calling me, have you have any contact with John? No. Have you had this? No. Um, uh, it is my belief that, you are scared. I said, why should I be scared of John? John is not a culprit. John is not a person who would do me any harm. John knew me as an employee. He knew that I was honest in dealing with his finances. He knew that I dedicated myself to my job and I carried out my job to the best of my ability, so I had no fear of John. I would tell her that yes, I'm afraid of John, thinking that she would say, okay, well, I'm going to do this for her, but she has never done anything for me, only just granting me that $12,500.
And you like the communication with her, or would you like her?
No,
say what?
as of this moment, in fact, as recently as 3 days ago, when she called me and she said she would get in touch with me, I have made up my mind that I would like to tell Nanette right now that I have no desire to have any kind of contact with her, and if she would just please stop calling me, because what I am saying now is the truth and nothing else but the truth. John had nothing to do with that murder. What I told you, Nanette, was a fabrication to earn what you offered to pay me.